Hi, my dolly friends. It is Friday, November 24th, 2023. My name is Gina, and this is Emma. And Emma is the Bonnie Brown sculpt. She is Chase by Bonnie Brown. And we are doing a couple of themes. One is Thankful Friday by Tammy at Tater Tots Nursery, and the other is Casual Fun Friday by Kitty at Little Waddle Nursery. As always, folks, I am going to be putting the names of any channels that I mention down in the description of my video. So today I have come on to let you know exactly what I'm thankful for. And I am thankful to each and every subscriber I have, new or from the beginning. I thank you so much for being here. You fill my heart with joy. I appreciate you coming back and watching my content and enjoying it. And my little Emma here is in this beautiful blue, royal blue knitted dress, and I just love it on her. And when I have something on a baby that I just love, I tend to keep it on them. If I'm still enjoying seeing the baby in it and I'm not tired of the outfit, I'll show it repeatedly, and I don't really care because you know what? It's my channel, my way. So you might be tired of seeing it, but I'm not. But then, we're all different. And some of us like to change our babies all the time and some don't. And that's okay. That's the way it is. So anyway, Emma is here. She's tuckered out. And I think that this color just looks gorgeous on her. So my precious little Emma is here. And I decided too that not only would we talk about what I was thankful for, but we would discuss Gina's world, because yesterday I only mentioned it briefly, but I didn't really get into it. I'm going to try to keep this relatively short, guys. But basically what I'm going to talk about this evening is the fact that I really wanted to do a very well-planted, majorly planted tank aquarium. And I wanted it to really be like some of my favorite channels that I watch on YouTube, about aquarium keeping. And here's the thing I've discovered, is that instead of enjoying my aquarium, instead of being excited that like next week I wanted to try to order and go look for and add fish to my aquarium, and I was thrilled about it, because my aquarium, my aquascape, didn't turn out at all like I wanted. The piece of driftwood I chose to put on the rocks and try to make an arch was way too heavy. And no matter the amount of Aqualon or the super glue, just plain regular old super glue that I used, which is aquatic and snail and shrimp safe, and that's what you use, that piece of driftwood was too big for the size rocks that I had. Okay, so I realized that. So I thought, okay, so you go to plan B. Sometimes things don't always work out. So then I found another little piece of driftwood that I had, and I tried gluing that on. And I don't know if it's my impatience or what, but that didn't stay very well. So I got frustrated, and then now, because I do have plants and I put them in there, I have what they call, and it's a brand new tank. I have what they call new tank syndrome, and I have a wonderful bacteria bloom, which means beneficial bacteria is blooming. And the other thing is I tried a new method that I've never tried before of planting my tanks, and I followed step by step by step. I even had the videos on, and step one and step two, and I did a dirted aquarium. And you actually use real, just a plain generic, not real nutrient dense or anything. You would have to add your own to it, the soil, but you kind of an organic potting soil like, but not with, fertilizers and things in it. That's not in there. But you put that in the bottom as your base, and you get it wet and you get it kind of muddy, and then you put a layer of sand on top. And then and you get that real wet and you put it on top. And then after that, then you cap it with another sand or gravel that you've used. It's supposed to hold all the dirt down. And guys, I followed it step by step. I have dirt floating in my aquarium. And the only way to correct that is to empty it and try again. And to be honest, I started thinking, when were you the happiest when you kept fish? I thought I was the happiest when I didn't know anything. When I simply put gravel in the bottom of my tank. I didn't worry about aquascaping or anything. I hadn't even heard the word. If I wanted to stick a fake plant in there, I stuck it in. And I got fish. And generally, and when I originally started out, it was a goldfish that my kids won at a carnival. I had never kept a fish before. I didn't know anything about fish keeping. And prior to my kids winning that goldfish, I always thought fish keeping was rather boring. Well, as I got into it, I discovered it was really kind of fun. And then I did more and more research. And then I realized that keeping a single goldfish in a bowl wasn't healthy for it. And and even the bettas that are in the little cups, and then we bring them home and we put them in another little vase or something. That's like taking a human being and throwing them into a closet and saying, well, here's some light sometimes. Oh, here's a toy. Oh, you can come out and use the bathroom. And here you go. Here's a book or a toy. And here's your food. I'll make sure you have nutritious food. Well, can they live in that condition? Sure they can. Are they going to thrive? Heck no. Well, that's what we were doing to the fish. And I thought, you know what? We were abusing them. That's animal abuse. And I don't like that. So I didn't want to be a part of that. So then I read, and I kept some more bettas, and I had them in 5-gallon tanks, and just one at a time, because I always got male bettas. And if you put 2 male bettas together, they will fight to the death. So you don't want that. Or I never wanted it. So anyway, so that's what I did. But then after my husband died and I moved and I was starting my life over, I thought, I really want to get back into fish keeping, but this time I think I'll try a planted tank, because I was watching these YouTube videos and these planted tanks are gorgeous. So I started out slow, and to make a super long story short, the current tank I have right now is my 7th attempt at a planted aquarium. My 6th one, my first 5 failed miserably. The one I didn't know that, like, I had gotten Anubias and different I don't know what these plants are. And I just read it said low light, easy beginner plants. So I stuck them in the tank. Well, then I find out you're not supposed to actually plant Anubias. You can put it between driftwood and a rock, or glue it with the super glue to a rock. And there's several other plants like that. Java fern is like that. Anyway, but I I didn't do enough research. So my plants died. Plus, I thought, well, and that I did read that those types of plants needed to be fed through the water column. So you use like a liquid fertilizer. Well, then I was just using liquid fertilizer. So any plant that I planted that was like a stem plant where it would need nutrients from the soil or the substrate, I didn't give it any because I didn't have the root tabs that you put in to give some nutrients. And then later, depending on how many fish you have, but you don't want to overstock because that will throw off your cycle too. It's kind of tricky. I wound up with stem plants. All my stem plants would die all the time. And then even when I found out that I needed the root tabs, I probably didn't have the best substrate in my tank because I should have had something better than just gravel. And then at one point I had some other type that had some anyway. So this time I thought I'll really do it right. And this is my first time ever having a 20-gallon tank. I've never had anything bigger than a 5. And I have what they call new tank syndrome right now. My water's all cloudy. I've over fertilized. It's got dirt floating at the top because apparently I didn't put enough camping sand, or I didn't get the dirt wet enough, or I didn't do something right. Okay? I don't know what I did wrong. But I mean, I had like that much sand on top, so I thought that it was fine, and I only had about that much dirt. So, and I got it all wet prior too, so I'm very confused as to why I have dirt. The other thing too I've noticed is on these YouTube channels I follow, they all have a fish room, and they have special equipment, and they keep their rooms heated so they don't have to add a heater to the actual tank. Like they keep their rooms at 80, 82 degrees. I'm not going to do that to my house. I'm not going to be that hot. And I'm not going to pay that kind of bill for one aquarium. So it's easier for me to put a heater in it. I also noticed that when they do their water changes in that, I mean, they have hoses long enough that they can just drain everything outside. I don't have that. I have to drain mine into a bucket and then get rid of the water. And I'm on the second floor of a condo. And they have a special hose attachment that when they're adding water from their huge 600 barrel gallon of water that they keep in there that's already dechlorinated and treated and warm because it's got set and got the water temperature of the room, they have a special hose, and they just put it in the bottom of the tank, and it comes out real slow and it refills. And I don't have that. And so then they say, well, if you're pouring water in, use a paper towel, put a plastic bag in there, a bowl or something, pour the water onto that one spot and let it gently disperse so that it doesn't ruin your substrate. Well, that didn't work for me. I was pouring it in. I had the paper towel and I still had a problem. So maybe I need to pour slower. Maybe I need to do it in smaller increments than my 5-gallon bucket, which was very heavy. So maybe I poured faster than I should have. Probably I poured faster than I should have. But I'm to the point that I'm really frustrated. And so what I've basically decided is there are 3 plants, live plants, that have worked very well for me. And I'm going to keep those. All the rest are going into the trash. Most of them have died anyway. Because I over-fertilized, because I put too many root tabs in. Plus I added the liquid fertilizer, and my pump wasn't the pump that it didn't work right, and at first it was like it was clogged, and anyway. So I put too much fertilizer in, My tank looks terrible, and I'm not at all happy, and the only thing I can do is tear it down and start over. So I'm going to pick a different type of aquascape. I do have a couple little rock towers that may be in there, but I don't know how I'll place them. I still have one design in mind that I'm going to try, and I think I'm just going to do a basic black sand and maybe a little white substrate that is that I could stick a plant in if I want, but I don't have to. I might get some really nice fake plants to put in there so the fish have places to hide. And I think I'll put floating plants on top. And that will pull excess bad nutrients out of the water. And I don't have to worry about planting them. So, yeah, I'm going to go back to a much more simple tank than what I was trying to create. And then I'm just going to do it, clean this one up one time, re-get substrate, figure it out, and then get it kind of landscaped the way I want. And I think I'll be very careful with how I add the water and go from there. So my aquarium is not going to be anything that I thought it was going to be. There won't be an arch in it unless I buy one pre-made at the fish store, which I probably won't, because the little bitty one that I saw that will look stupid in a 20-gallon would have been perfect for my 5 gallons, but not for a 20, was like $35. And I thought, no, I'm not spending that much. So, and I've already invested enough to get this tank going. My plants alone were $106, and that was with a sale. So, and then I've probably spent another 100 or so on the substrate. And that doesn't include my light or my heater, because I had to upgrade those things. And I got a different filter. So yeah, so I'm just gonna see what I can do and go from there, and we're gonna be happy, and it's gonna be fun, and I'm just gonna go back to a more simple way for me to keep a tank, because instead of this being a joy and relaxing, it's become a source of frustration and disappointment, and I don't want that. So I'm going back to my simple fish keeping, and I'll go from there. So that's all that's going on in my world, and I'm loving my babies, and there will be some more additions, not real quick, maybe. There might be one sort of quick, but probably most of mine, I'll probably have 3 or 4 new baby. Well, maybe might be one more this year, or maybe 2 more this year. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, we're going to go from there, guys. And that's all that's going on in my world. And I thank you for listening and watching and just being here with me and with Emma. And have a beautiful, wonderful evening. Oh, wait a moment. So anyway, guys, I'm back. Have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your Friday evening. Where I live on Central Standard Time, it is nearly 9 o'clock in the evening, and I just want to wish you well. You know, I can't believe I got fired from the calendar factory. All I did was take a day off. Remember that no matter what you're going through, God loves you. He's always there for you. And take care, my dolly friends. Bye-bye.